Hey guys, it's Neil here, the car appraiser. I want to introduce my latest project, which is a 1973 Citroen SM. I just picked this car up from an estate sale, so don't know too much about it. It's been sat for a few years, so I'm just going to check it out, see if we can actually get this car running fairly easily without spending too much money and too much time. But it's a Citroen, so it's going to take too much money and too much time. But that's just the way it goes. So here she is in all of her glory, 1973 Citroen SM. This is one of about 722 cars that actually came to the US market in '73. Citroen built 12,920 cars overall. So they're pretty rare. Most of them were in Europe, but this one is a 73, which means it has the 3-liter engine. So it's a little larger than the 2.7 liter that was on the earlier cars. The US spec cars had a triple carb setup, whereas the European cars were fuel injection. So anyway, we're gonna open it up and see what is going on here. So looking inside here, you can see that the interior is pretty decent. A little bit of wear and tear. The carpets are a little grubby. The dashboard is all cracked up, and that's pretty nasty. This car is a 5-speed ZF transmission, so it was available in automatic, but way more desirable with the 5-speed transmission. It's kind of crazy. The brake pedal here is actually just a button on the floor. There's actually no pedal. It's really kind of weird. Everything about these cars are completely bizarre and odd, and that's kind of what makes them so great. But the interior is fairly decent. The back seats over there has some sun damage, so we're going to take that out, send that out to an upholsterer to get that fixed. So here we are on the passenger side. You can see the horrible cracks in the dash, which are going to have to be fixed, and that's going to be time consuming, expensive and difficult. So sounds pretty much like a Citroen SM to me. Body wise, this car is in pretty decent shape. There's some damage here to the front fender. But a little bit of rust spot down here on the driver's door, but underneath it's really solid, so that's kind of a cool thing to see, because they do have a propensity to rust. We do have some surface rust on top of here, but it's not that. It looks a lot worse than it actually is, so we'll grind this all away and make sure that won't happen and come up again. Also on the back here and underneath the window. All these bumpers are stainless steel, so we'll take those off, get them polished up to make them nice, bright and shiny again, and hopefully this will be a nice up and running car. On this side we can see that there's a little bit of dent and rust damage here, so that will be fixed at the body shop. And there's a little bit more rust here as well, so take all this off, grind this all down and make it all nice and smooth again. Okay, let's check out under the hood and see what goes on underneath here. Okay, underneath here we've got a Maserati 3-liter V6. This engine was used also in the Maserati Merak. The earlier versions of the Citroen SM has the 2.7 liter motor, which is essentially the same, but it's just a little bit smaller. What's kind of unusual is the transmission is actually mounted on the front of the engine. So this part here is the transmission. You've got the brake calipers here with the brake rotors. They're inboard discs, rack and pinion steering, and then this drive shaft comes off of the center timing shaft in the engine This drives the hydraulic pump for the suspension system and brake system. This is the pressure regulating valve for that system. Alternator, air conditioning unit, and these here are the suspension struts. So the spheres on top, which act as the shock absorber, and inside here you've got a cylinder with a fluid that hydraulic fluid feeds into these. So through here, and then over there we've got the reservoir for the hydraulic fluid that feeds the suspension and the brakes. There's the header tank for the radiator, and over here is the air box for the air conditioning unit and the really incredibly inconveniently placed battery. You've got to take the wheel off to actually get the battery out of the car and remove a panel from the inside wheel arch, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. Over on this side is the oil cooler for the engine oil. These two pipes feed up to the very back of the engine, and there's a pump that drives oil through there, which cools it off through this oil cooler. So that's about it for underneath the hood. So that is it. My name's Neil, the car appraiser, and this is my first episode on repairing my Citroen SM project car. So click like, spread the word about my channel. Thank you.